Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to learn how to make this trendy yoke. As you can see, this yoke is not that regular, it is not joined at the neckline, so we are going to learn how to cut the yoke. So for this yoke, we are going to draft two patterns. I'm trying to make it simple for you guys. We are going to draft a basic bodice, a normal basic bodice, and the one that has a princess dart. So this is the basic bodice. So first of all, we'll start off by marking the shoulder. I'll only show you guys how I did the basic bodice. This is where I drafted the yoke from, and the one that has a princess dart is the one that I will use for the main fabric. I don't know if you get. So I'll start off by marking my shoulder divided by 2 plus half an inch, that is 8. So from there I'll mark the bust point. I am making this for a plus size, so her bust point is 12 inches. So after marking the 12 inches, I will determine her armhole. So her chest line is supposed to be 10, but because I will be using a lace, and we know laces can be stretchy sometimes, so I'll make her armhole 9.5 instead of 10. Then her under bust is 16, her half length is 19, and I'll add 2 inches extra allowance, so that is 21. This is for the basic body. So I am done ruling the lines. So I'll find the midpoint of the armhole, and that is 4.75, and from there I'll curve my armhole. From there I'll draw my armhole curve. So this bodice will not have any darts. The only thing we need from this is the yoke. I don't know if you get to only cut out the yoke. And please, if you're cutting this on your pattern, cut it on fold your pattern paper. You know, sometimes you don't normally fold the pattern paper, but this time around fold your pattern paper. So I have marked my neckline, and after marking my neckline, I'll go ahead and label the line so that I will not get confused. The chest line, bust point, under bust, half length, and allowance. So after that, you go ahead and take our body measurement. That's just it for this bodice. We don't need to do all those complicated measurements. So I'll measure her bust. Her bust is 45 divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. I'll mark. So her waist is 38 divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. I'll also go ahead and mark that. That should be 11.5. I'll make it 12 if you want. So that's it, and I'll go ahead and connect the lines. Like I said, remember to cut this on fold on your pattern paper. So after that, I'll go ahead and cut. So I forgot to add my shoulder slants. I'll go ahead and cut the shoulder slants, the armhole, and the body measurements. So this is it. So you go ahead and open it up. So here is my pattern paper. So when you open it up, you extend all these lines. So this is where you will draft your curve. You know that yoke has a curve. It is not straight, it has a curve towards the left side. So that is it. I'll keep this for now. I'll come back to it later. So I'll introduce a new pattern paper, and this is where I will draft another bodice with the same measurement. The only difference is that this one will be a princess dart, because I will pad this bustier for her. I'll add a breast part to it. So I'll mark my shoulder. I'm not going to explain. I'll just give you a hint of what I did in order to save time. You do the normal bust points, under bust, half length, and all that. So I am done drafting the princess dart measurements on another pattern paper. So I'll place it like this. I'll make it to overlap. I'll make the center front to overlap. Then after that, we will mark our neck there. So you mark where you want the main fabric, the Ankara fabric, where you want the neckline to start from. So I want mine to start at 8. So I'll go ahead. If you want it to be straight, fine, but if you want, you can add a sweetheart, a bit sweetheart shape to it. So I don't want hers to come down because she's a plus size and she's an elderly woman as well. So it will come down a bit, and I'll go ahead and draft and cut the neckline. I don't know if you get. If you want, you can do a normal off shoulder, but I have my reason why I made it a shoulder pattern before cutting the off shoulder part. So this is what we are left with. So we have our center front, and that will be on fold, and we also have the side pattern, and remember to cut it 2 pieces. So that is it. So the back part of this bustier will have a complete princess, that it will have a shoulder. If you want, you can add a yoke to the back part, but the back part will just be a normal princess that with a shoulder. The yoke will only be at the front. That is how I want mine to be. You can make yours the way you want it to be as well. So I also added the zipper allowance to the center back, and this is the side. This is the side of the back. So that is how I'm going to cut it on the. So here is the first pattern that I drafted. So I'm going to label the right and the left. So here is the left and here is the right side. So the curve went towards the left side. So you are going to first of all use a dotted line to draft how you want your curve to be. First, use a dotted line. So this is not how the curve will be to the end of this video, but I want to do it now. I will still correct the curve. That is when I'm sewing. I'll place the lace on my fabric and I will correct the curve. But for now, this is how the curve will look like. If you check the picture so well, you will notice that the yoke is not straight. It's curved towards the left hand side. So that is it. We are going to cut it out, and after cutting it out, we will place it on our lace. Well, if you want to use a net, fine, but a lace is the best for this. So after cutting this out, I'll place it on my lace and I will cut on my lace. So I am done cutting it out, and this is the lace that I'll be using for the yoke. So I'll go ahead and place it on this yoke, and then on this lace, sorry, and then cut out. So I am done cutting. I'll cut out the neckline as well. So here is the ones for the Ankara part. Like I told you guys, this one will look like an off shoulder, then the yoke will continue. Then this is it. I've added my wording, so I'll go ahead and join. Then after joining this one, I'll also go ahead and show you guys the lining. I'll join the lining also. So here is it. I have trimmed the wording. So I cut out the lining for this, and I also cut the back and the lining for the back as well. So here is the lining. Here is the fabric for the back. Like I told you guys, I will not add any. So this is the back. Like I told you guys, I will not add any yoke for the back or to the back. So here is the center back, and here is also the other parts of the center back. So I'll go ahead and join. So I'll show you guys the lining as well. So I added a paper stay to my lining. If you want, you can add both to the lining and to the fabric, but in this case I added just to the fabric. So I'll go ahead and join everything, then I'll come back and show you guys. So here is also the lining for the front part. You can see the center front and the sides. So I'll go to my sewing machine and join all of them. Then I will notch. Please remember to notch, and after notching, please remember to iron. So I will use a bias tip to turn the neckline of the yoke. That is what I'll do for the lace. So here is the lace. I am done turning it with the bias strip, and here is also the front part. I have joined this, and I also ironed, I also notched and ironed. So I'll fold it into two to just define the neckline more, just to like trim it a bit. So after trimming, I will place my lining on it, then I'll go to my sewing machine and turn. So I'll do this for the back parts also. So here is the lining. I also ironed the lining, so I'll go ahead and turn. So here is the back part. I'll place each of them on the lining. Then go ahead and turn the neckline and the sides. So I am done turning the neckline for the front. As you can see, it is fine. I'm done turning the neckline, and I've also turned the back parts. So I'll place them together and then join the zipper allowance like I always do. I join my zipper allowance. So this is the front part, and I'll go ahead and show you guys how to place the yoke. So when you place the yoke, remember that this yoke stopped, let's say 1 inch below the underbust. If you want it to stop at the underbust exactly, fine, but if you want it to be more defined, make it to be like 1 inch below your underbust. So place your tape on it and use it to adjust. Like I told you guys, I want this yoke to be very defined. So I tried the first joining, it did not really give me what I wanted, so I retried again. So just place it on the fabric. As you are placing it, please, your tape should guide you, because your tape will help you determine where the bust point and where the underbust is. So I'll go ahead and place it this way. And like I told you guys, this curve will not be this way. So I'll pin the lace down, and then I'll go ahead and give this yoke the curve that I want it to have, the perfect curve that I want it to have. You can manipulate this yoke if you want. You can achieve a V neckline. If you want, you can achieve any curve at all that you want. So I'll go ahead and define this curve. So as you can see, the curve is well defined now. So first of all, make a rough curve so that when you place it on your bodice will guide you. I don't know if you get. If you can get it exactly on the pattern paper, fine. But if you cannot, make a rough curve first. Then after, you can curve it very well. This one will help you achieve the perfect curve that you want. So I'll go ahead and pin with my pins, and then go ahead and join on my sewing machine. So that is it, guys. I'll go ahead and run a stitch on it. So I am done running a stitch on this. I've held it down with a stitch, so you can go ahead and place something under the bust. Please, when you are placing this yoke, please remember to place something under the bust so that the breast parts will stand firm and give you the perfect shape of a bust, so that you can get the accurate placement of this yoke. So I am done joining the zipper allowance of the back, and then I'll place this. First of all, I'll go ahead and join the both at the shoulder. On a normal day, I normally join on the sides before the shoulder, but this time around I joined the shoulder before joining the sides. So I am done joining at the shoulder. I'll go ahead and take my body measurements and then go to my sewing machine and shape. Please remember to add a pin. So I'm taking my body measurements, and when I'm done taking the measurement, I will connect the line and then go ahead and sew. So I am done joining and I have ironed as well. So I'll go ahead and measure my underbust. The underbust is supposed to be 19, but because this is a peplum blouse, I want the half length. Sorry, the half length is supposed to be 19, but because it is a peplum blouse, I wanted it to come up a bit so that the fitting will be fine. So I have marked the half length. I'll mark my armhole, and I'll go ahead and trim all of them. So I am done trimming the half length. If you want, you can go ahead and give it like a small curve at the sides. So here is it, guys. I'll go ahead and attach the peplum. So I am done attaching the peplum, and that is it. So I'll go ahead and place my trimming depending on the type of trimming that you want. 1 yard of trimming is okay for this. So I'll go ahead and attach my trimming. I used my candle gum to attach this. So I'm placing it so that you guys can see how I did it. So after adding the trimmings, this is what it looked like. It is so beautiful and fine. So if you want to do any adjustments, you can still go ahead and do your adjustments. So guys, here is the final look on my client. As you can see, it fitted so well. At this point, I haven't done any adjustments. The yoke is looking very beautiful. If you want to do any manipulation, you can still go ahead and do it. It mustn't be the way the curve is on the picture. You can add the type of curve you want. So thank you guys for watching my video, and thank you guys for subscribing. See you in my next video, and please do not forget to like this video. Bye.